We need to talk about Phantom Blade Zero. We just got 11 minutes of new gameplay, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I went into this with my expectations in check. We have seen highly stylized, very fast action games revealed before, only for the final product to feel a little clunky. Up to now, Phantom Blade Zero has looked kinda nuts and very action-focused, very fast. But after watching this footage, the game has really climbed up my anticipated games list. If you have not seen the gameplay yet, it's running behind me, and you may want to watch it on your own screen because sometimes streams make it a little hard to see everything. Today, I want to break down exactly why this game shot up close to the top of my most anticipated list for the remainder of this year. So let's get into it. First, we've got to talk about the combat. That is certainly the centerpiece of a game like this. Frenetic doesn't really even begin to summarize it. It's blistering, it's chaotic, but there's a controlled element to the chaos. I like how clearly we can see what's going on. There have been a few games recently where they go a little hard on speed and particle effects, and it can create an almost blurring effect where it's hard to see what is happening. Now, if you look at this, and you guys know me, and you know the kind of games that I like. I put like over 200 hours into Returnal. I loved Sekiro, Ghost of Tsushima, and Ghost of Yote, Rise of the Ronin. Watching this Phantom Blade Zero footage really increased my excitement for this game. The sheer APM, which is actions per minute required, looks insane. Even on this sort of like staged fight where you have to stay on the back of this stagecoach, just looks incredible. It's beautiful. It's like a violent dance of parrying, dodging, and striking. It heavily leans into the classic wuxia martial arts style where momentum is everything. You're not just trading blows, you're constantly repositioning, deflecting barrages of attacks, and closing the gap in the blink of an eye. If the controller response is as tight as the animations look, this is going to be incredibly satisfying to master. And that brings me to the second point. There is an unexpected cinematic quality to this game that I was not expecting to see. Usually when a game is this fast, the visual fidelity and the animation transitions can sort of start to take a hit. Even the cutscenes, I think, have a very heavy cinematic quality. Many times in a game like this, you'll get stiff resets between the combos, and it very much looks like, well, it's a video game and I can sort of tell. Well, I don't think that's happening here. The transition from standard gameplay into these brutal cinematic execution moves is absolutely seamless. Notice how the camera will dynamically shift during heavy strikes or perfect parries or even a little quick time thing like that, and then it goes right back into the action. It pulls in just enough to make you feel the impact, but never enough to obscure your spatial awareness. And the environments, there's this sort of bleak, rain-soaked architecture vibe, this oppressive lighting, sparks are flying off the steel. It doesn't just look like a standard character action game, it looks like a high-budget martial arts film. The level of polish on display in this 11-minute slice really surprised me. And that wasn't the only thing that surprised me. There is a focus on story here that I thought was unexpected in this game. The narrative in games like this often, narrative is just sort of an excuse to get you from one arena to the next. You know, here's your sword, go kill bad guys, thanks for killing that bad guy, other bad guy over here for you to kill now. But the developers are really emphasizing sort of the lore and the narrative weight here. You play as Soul, an elite assassin who's been given a 66-day death sentence. Every fight, every step forward is underscored by this ticking clock. The dialogue snippets, the interactions with NPCs, the world building, it's all pointing to a game that actually cares about its characters. And listen, that really adds weight to an action game for me. When I connect and I empathize with the main character's goals, it makes the fights and the victories all the more meaningful. And they announced that Donnie Yen is part of the game's cast, which makes it even more exciting. Finally, I do want to touch on the enemy and the boss design. When your combat is fast, oftentimes in games like this, it can be a bit overwhelming. The bosses are enormous. They take up entire portions of the screen. There can be elements of the fights that can be very frustrating, and oftentimes that's something that can be a huge turnoff. But in this game, I think they delivered. The elites and the bosses aren't just damage sponges. They're matching the player's speed step for step. There's a duel on a rooftop where the exchange of blows was so fast, I felt like I needed to slow it down to be like, wait, where are the parry windows, right? This game looks like you will be playing on a razor's edge, but it is not a Souls-like according to the developers. However, they also said it's not a traditional action game. They're hoping to even maybe create a new identity altogether. Maybe people will start saying it's a Phantom Blade-like. Given what we've seen, I think they actually might pull it off. Now, one final bit of exciting news. There is a state of play on Monday, August the 17th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. You heard that right. It's going to be very late in the day. This is a Chinese developer, so it's probably orchestrated around their time and not necessarily our time here in the United States. We get a little spoiled by a lot of the state of plays because PlayStation has a large U.S. audience. But I think this game is going to get a ton of sales and a ton of traction in the Chinese market. This is more efforts from Sony to grow in that market. And we will, I think, I'm going to check my schedule to see if I can cover that on Monday at basically 10 o'clock in the evening, my time. It's a little late for this old man, but maybe I can make it work for you guys, which means you want to make sure you're subscribed to my Reforge Gaming channel. We do have content in other places, various spots all over the internet. So if you see clips or reactions, you do want to make sure you're subscribed to Reforge Gaming. Now, I want to know what you think. Where did you land on this video? Many people have been saying up to now that the design of this game has been very different. They designed vertical slices, because one of the first couple times I saw footage of this, I thought, man, this thing looks ready to go, and that was a while ago, and it seemed as though, man, this thing's got to be right around the corner. Apparently, the development style for these types of studios is they like to do vertical slices to really push the game to its limits. And I really feel like that has benefited this game immensely. It looks like a game where the moment to moment is absolutely insane. Like you're in some action kung fu movie or something, and it doesn't feel like, video gamey game where like you're having to, measure all the distance between telegraphs and attacks. It seems like it'll be incredibly immersive while also being ridiculously fast and very cool and high action. So again, I want to know what you guys think. Where do you land on this? I wanted to get a little bit more footage here in the end of the video that they showed. This amazing sort of surrounding arena that's on fire, and more of that frenetic and fast combat where there are particle effects and there are like smoky blurring effects, but I don't feel like it's blurring the game itself, and I'm able to see what's going on, which is a huge plus from my perspective. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and always remember to stop by my live streams.